You're training your glutes, but every time your quads show up first, and you start thinking, am I doing this wrong? Are my glutes even working? Here's the thing, your quads are supposed to help. They're part of almost every lower body exercise. That's normal. But if your quads take over every single time, today I'll show you 4 things to practice so you can feel your glutes a little more clearly. Reason 1, your knees take over first. This one shows up in squats, lunges, split squats, step-ups, a lot of lower body exercises. You start the movement, and before anything else, your knees drive forward, your quads take over, and your glutes barely get a chance to join. For example, we're going to use the step up to make it easy to see. A common version looks like this. You stay pretty upright. Your back foot pushes off the ground to help, and you feel your quads right away. Sometimes your front knee feels a little bit cranky too. For this practice, we're just going to add more control. Let's begin with slow step down and slow step up. Start with a lower step. Hold on to something lightly for balance. Lean forward a little. Place your hand on your working side glute. Count to 3 as you slowly step down. Try not to let your knees pass your toes. I'm not saying that you can never let your knees go forward, but according to my coaching experience, keeping it behind the toes always helps my clients feel their glutes more. Once your back foot touches the ground, slowly step back up. Focus on your front foot and your working side glute. Try not to push with the back foot. I'd rather do a small, controlled step up than a high one where you have to kick and cheat with your back foot. With this setup, you should have a better chance to feel your glutes instead of only feeling your quads. Once that feels solid, there are 2 ways to make it harder. Try a higher step or try not to hold on anything. Eventually, you can try it with weight. Don't rush the movement. Try to really focus on feeling your glutes. Reason 2, your hips aren't joining in. A lot of beginners move straight up and down in lower body exercises. The knees go first, the quads do the obvious work, and the hips sort of just come along. When your hips don't have a clear job, your quads fill in. For this practice, let's do a supported lateral squat. This helps you feel your hips move back and to the side instead of dropping straight down through your knees. Start with your feet wider than your normal squat stance, holding on to the rack or any pillar. Shift your weight to one side, knee tracking over your toes, and sit back down. Keep your heels on the ground and keep the other leg straight. Then push the floor away and come back to center. Instead of aiming for a full range of motion, just go as low as you can control. You might feel your glute, you might feel your inner thigh, that's fine. What I care about most is whether you feel the weight shifting. Once that feels solid, you can hold a light kettlebell or dumbbell at your chest. Same movement, same feeling you are looking for, but without holding on the rack for balance. Again, don't rush it. Sit back into that hip and keep the movement controlled. Reason 3, your glutes feel like they're sleeping. Sometimes the reason you feel your quads more is very simple. Quads are easier to feel. When your quads work, you usually notice right away. They burn, they get tight, they feel obvious. But your glutes can feel like they're sleeping, especially if you're new to strength training or if you sit a lot during the day. So for this practice, let's take the quads out of the picture for a second and just practice what your glutes feel like. Lie face down on the floor. Bend one knee to about 90 degrees. Before you lift your leg, gently squeeze the glute on that side. Then lift your knee just a little bit off the ground. Keep your spine neutral and try not to arch your lower back. Instead of lifting it as high as possible, try to focus on finding that squeeze. If you feel it mostly in your lower back, make the lift lower. You can even put one hand on your glute so you know what you're trying to feel. Once that feels clear, try a stronger version. Same setup, same movement, but try to hold it up for 10 seconds. I know it looks so easy, but it burns. So this practice isn't supposed to look dramatic. It's just a small exercise to help you recognize your glutes before you try to find them in the bigger, more complicated exercises. Reason 4, your hips can't keep you steady yet. This one usually shows up in single leg movements. If you're new to strength training or if you sit most of the day, your hips and glutes may not be the first place your body looks for stability. So when things get a little wobbly, your body grabs the easiest option, your knees and your quads. For this practice, we're aiming for one thing. Can your working leg stay steady while the other leg moves around? We're starting with 3-way slider. I like this one a lot and I use it with my clients quite often. Put one foot on the floor. This is your working leg. Put the other foot on the slider. Keep 90% of your weight there. Sit down on your working leg. Don't let your knees pass your toes. Feel your glute before you move. Now slide the other foot in 3 directions. Front, side, behind. Here's the important part. Only go as far as you can without moving your working leg. This is the whole point. You're basically sitting on one leg and trying to be as stable as you can. If your knee starts wobbling everywhere, make the movement smaller. Once the slider version feels solid, try 3-way toe tap. Sit on one leg with a small bend in your knee. Tap front, come back. Tap side, come back. Tap behind, come back. The tapping foot should stay light. Most of your body weight is still on your working leg. This version is harder because the moving foot doesn't get to glide on the ground anymore. Now your working knee has to move with control. It bends a little, straightens a little, and stay in line with your toes as much as you can. So if your quads keep taking over, it doesn't mean you're doing everything wrong. Your quads are allowed to work. But if they're taking over every single time, slow down the movement. Try this practice once or twice a week. And if this happens in other places too, like your lower back keeps taking over during the workout, I made this video to help you figure out why that happens and what to practice. Check it out. I will see you in the next rep.